People of the internet, apparently Andrew Schulz's special was a disappointment, and we are going to find out why in today's video by Comedy Enforcement, why Andrew Schulz's new special was a disappointment. Like and subscribe if that's what you do. So grab your joint, grab your drink. I have me some popcorn, and let's get ready, because here we go.
Build their, and so many people in general build their audiences based on identity. Because I've never built it like that, I've built it on flagrancy, right? I built it on, I'm going to say the fucked up jokes and have the fucked up takes. I'm going to say that animals should die. I'm going to say global warming's good. And the reality is jokes should deal with the worst and scariest things. That's why we have humor. This like shit where you like make jokes about shit that everybody already agrees about, that comedy doesn't exist. That dies. You will be forgotten.
The way I do comedy is just super vulnerable, super honest, tell you everything, and then hopefully tell some good story, put storytelling in it. Your style is very different. I don't think I know much about, you're like Tasha a little bit, like we were talking about Daniel Tasha.
I never thought that I was worth talking about until recently.
For real?
Yeah. I thought it was a very arrogant and like narcissistic thing for like comics that like had nothing to go up there and be like, today a weird thing happened to me.
Really?
And I was like, well, who the fuck are you?
Well, I don't have the ability to do what you do, or Burr and Chappelle.
I think you earn talking about your life. As I've gotten some more success in my career, I've started to try to make things more personal because I think it like is justified now.
So I started reading all these books about like storytelling and like understanding like 3-arc structure and all this kind of shit. And I was like, okay, maybe I can turn this into a story. And then I was like, I don't want anybody coming to the show to know that it's a story. Yeah, so like we had to do IVF and everything. That's what the special is about. Like it's just the story of us trying to
There was a study. So back in 2022, Andrew Schulz was on fire, pushing boundaries, dropping viral clips, and making a name for himself as the edgy comic who didn't play by the rules. When streamers wouldn't buy his comedy special without major edits, he basically self-funded, self-produced, and sold it directly to fans as a special too offensive for streaming. Then he dropped it on YouTube and it worked. It was massively successful, no censorship, sold out tours, and even multiple sold out shows at Madison Square Garden. It was insane. And then eventually he got an actual comedy special on Netflix. But here's the problem. After all that noise about not selling out and standing by your material, Schulz completely pivoted. The new special aimed to be emotional, way safer, and clearly for a different audience. And
Yep. That's right. He's rebranding just like the rest of them, and he's using his kids and his family to do it. That is how it is. You think at some point that people are going to wake up to these guys' grifts, that these guys scams, their lies? Look, people have been getting scammed for centuries. A lot of them the same things, just in different packages. The reality is there's a lot of dumb people. The majority of the world is dumb people, and they're going to fall for this stuff. Just like old Brendan Schaubsky fell for the scorpion venom. It's not just scorpion venom that people fall for. It's bad comedy.
While it wasn't bad and it was very, very successful, my main complaint was a drastic and sudden change in his comedy style. And naturally, it does make you wonder if the change was honest, meaning that he wanted to get away from being an edgy comic after becoming a dad, or if he was using the opportunity to sell a massive rebrand that would allow him to enter those big boy markets and compete with those currently at the top. So let's get started.
I saw there's a thing that happened that kind of, it didn't explain your fame, it explained how you're selling so many tickets to me, right? Because obviously I saw it, it was amazing, been a fan, but the perception at first was like, okay, this is really personal. He's talking about like really specific, his culture. Okay, maybe Italians are coming out in droves. And it was a Somali friend of mine that goes, oh yeah, I mean like me and my mom watch him like crazy. That's like her favorite comedian. It's one of my favorite comedians. And I go, explain that. And he goes, oh, like everything he talks about is my family. I go, what? And he goes, yeah. And at that moment I realized, it's a first generation or second generation relatability in America. And it's probably why, like, from my mom's side, why I'm kind of relating to it, but with all these people coming out.
You don't have to be Italian to get this. You could be Indian, you could be Puerto Rican, black, whatever you are.
Yeah.
If you have like a family and a dynamic in your family, I use my father as a big source of comedy. I think people relate to it regardless of what background you're from. Yeah, it is an immigrant story.
Yeah.
It has those immigrant, little innuendos that maybe some immigrant families could relate to more than others, but at the core, it's just the family. And
Now
Okay, I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. The best form of marketing and the first form of entertainment was storytelling. People sat around campfire and told stories from the beginning, and you can't be anything better. You cannot be anything better than storytelling. Storytelling is the greatest of all greatest forms of entertainment, and you see it in movies. You see it. Look at Biggie. All his raps were telling a story. Every sentence was, the next part in the story. It is the greatest thing you can do as a human is tell stories.
Let's be fair for a second. Having Zed introduce him was a nice moment. The special looked clean, well produced, and yeah, there were some solid jokes in there. No one's saying that Andrew Schulz forgot how to be funny, but the special doesn't exist in a vacuum. And when you stack it up next to the version of Schulz that blew up, the guy who roasted everyone, thrived on controversy, and bragged about betting on himself, this feels like a completely different person. Not an evolved one, but a rebranded one aiming to be more mainstream and more likable, which is insane because
I hate to say it, but I called this when it first came out. I called it all of them. All you people that say I'm wrong, you can't. Because most of the time I'm right.
Because he had already proven to the world that he could be massively successful and wealthy doing what he did. But deep down, he knew that if he wanted to take it to the next level, he had to get away from his past and avoid being seen as that toxic, edgy comedian or
grew his hair out
that would put all his guests through awkward situations just for the troll and the views. And so instead of taking the risk, he basically went the Bert Kreischer route, because when it comes to Bert, he's definitely not a clean comic. He can have some pretty edgy jokes on podcasts, but when he gets on stage, he chooses to be more relatable and safer. And it makes sense because when you look at the top comedians at the moment, they all mainly talk about families or their relationships,
and they're all garbage, including Kat's new special. Kat's special is terrible. It's terrible. I mean, he's still riding off of the 2006 Cat Williams, but his special, his new one, you will be severely disappointed. Look at all these comedians. They're all terrible. But there's a lot of dumb people. It is what it is, folks. You can't help it. You just cannot help it.
Also, in my opinion, it also seems a lot easier because instead of having to grind on a bit until it finally works, you can simply tell a story and update your fans about whatever you have going on in your life. And that 100% works.
I've just seen a couple of the rappers. As I started following one because I was like, I was like curious to be like, well, what's this dude's life? Like, you just want to watch him. He's doing some, they're doing rock venues and they're doing all this, and they're millions of followers, and they have all the stuff, the watches, and you're like, I'm just like, is this guy? Is it? Is that guy going to sell out Madison Square Garden? And I don't know if it is. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But it's the fascinating. You get this audience that's on board with you with social media, but like they're not going to translate. They're not going to go with you for your career. People want to grow with their people, I think. If you like someone, you're like, I'd like to grow. Like, you see them have a family, and then they have this, and they kind of just keep talking about their evolution of life. And that's what you enjoy watching. Our daughter goes to school, rides the bus. Like, it's trying to let her like have the most normal kind of like existence, and I think it's good for comics because I'm doing normal things.
It lets your material be pure in that it's just really who you are and what you. And I never really had a problem with that, but I know some people who would be hoping that they would get on a sitcom or hoping they would, you know, get a deal somewhere. And so they would tone down bits. They were doing these things where it was like real obvious that they were kind of captured by the idea of being a part of the system. Like, if I play my cards right, one day I'll be Kevin Hart. If I play my cards right, one day I'll be Jimmy Fallon. I'll host a show, I'll do this. And so you're kind of captured by this possible promise of money that comes from this weird place.
And you can't deny it's a completely different approach to wanting to become the GOAT, because back then, before, Schulz thought that in order to compete with Rock, Chappelle, or Louis, he needed to say the most insane and funny things and have a strong opinion to get people talking.
There's 5 people that should have comedy specials now.
That's more than
There's
that.
5.
Hey,
You, Rock, Chappelle, Louis, Burr. That's it. Everybody else should be in acquisition phase.
Why would that was obvious kiss the ring right there, Joe Rogan. But I can tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you. You ready? You ready to know why Schaub changed? I'm gonna tell you. All the signs are there, and this is exactly why. Not Schaub, Schulz. Why Schulz changed? I'm going to tell you right now. You ready? He's married to a controlling woman. Just think about it. That guy, whole life has changed in like 2 years. He got married, got a kid, and now he's got to do this brand new comedy routine as like Tim Allen, you know? The dad on Home Improvement, just walking out like, hey, you know, I got a kid at home now. And it's just weird. I think it's the lady. That's what changed Schulz. I've seen it before. I've seen many a men go down to a controlling lady. Same, vice versa, you know, because I know some of you are going to be like, yeah, but yeah, it happens both ways. But he's married to a lady, so that's why.
Why?
I don't know about that, man. I don't buy into that. First of all, I don't think that way. I never worry about what other people are doing.
But now he realized that that isn't his competition anymore. And if he wants to be at the top right now, his competition is Nate, Burr, and Sebastian. And by the way, don't forget to like the video. It helps out so much and I really appreciate that. Thank you. And so now it does make sense why he changed his approach to be more of a storyteller. But back then it completely took me off guard, because when I first saw him for the live tour last year, I was expecting some crowd work and some wild jokes like the ones that he was posting on his YouTube channel. But then when I heard him tell the most Bert Kreischer type story ever, I was completely shocked. Now, to be fair, if you like Bert Kreischer, Nate, or Sebastian, meaning a more family style comedy special, then you'll likely enjoy the live comedy special. But if you're an old Andrew Schulz fan that was expecting him to break Netflix with some wild jokes like he did at the roast of Tom Brady, then this was a disappointment. But also the way that Andrew Schulz talks about the special or the story, he's making it sound like it was so deep and sad that it's breaking even the biggest haters. But let's be real, in my opinion, the story wasn't that sad or that crazy at the end of the day. I mean, it can make you emotional and make you feel happy for Schulz, but the story itself is very surface level. And also, I completely disagree with the narrative that the special was so deep and personal that Andrew Schulz basically gave everyone the nuke and the fuel to make fun of him, and so therefore, no one should be getting mad at.
Yo, does anybody notice this? Like, dude, Andrew Schulz is dressing like a yuppie dad that goes to Whole Foods every day. Like, what's with those boots? What's with that jacket? Nobody should wear that. Who would want to? Who wants to wear that? Maybe he's been prepping. His whole look is changing. Look at his hair. Grown out.
Schulz when he makes fun of somebody else.
Oh.
You know, I make fun of everybody, but I also make fun of myself.
It's
Like,
self-deprecating.
It's the most.
You cannot watch. If you watch that special and you get mad at Andrew Schulz ever again for clowning somebody, you're just being biased.
I gave you the nuke on me. Anybody who wants to make fun of me for the red, Taylor almost made me commit suicide.
Taylor shot the nuke for no reason.
Immediately.
I'm like, yo, Taylor, there was no need to press the red button.
She nuked me twice.
And you created a body. See, for comedians, it's like your album. So like, yo, you put out a dope ass album. Like, you put out an album. To me, that is a classic. But once again, everybody gonna say I'm biased. You know what I mean? But all I do is tell you, go watch the shit for yourself.
Yeah, you go watch it.
You know?
You see. Hopefully you like it, and hopefully you get something from it. And shout out everybody that worked on it, man.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, it's also cool because you were able to do exactly how you wanted it. Because last time they were trying to make you not.
Yeah.
Like cut some stuff out.
Yeah, they were cool. They were very cool. And shout out to Netflix for letting me do that, man. I really appreciate that.
And just creating a piece of content that like that means something. I just feel like you see a lot of shit nowadays that's just like yuck it up for the moment type shit.
It's like everything is a reaction channel.
But I thought it was her fault.
That's goddamn right. You got a problem with it? What's wrong with that? Yeah, look, let me get some clear reaction channels, right? Just because you do a reaction channel doesn't mean it's going to be successful or people are going to view. Or you don't have any talent. Look, I have to sit here and talk and entertain you. Of course, there's people who don't like it, but there are people that do like it. And being able to continually grow while sitting here and doing this, look, I got to be doing something, right? Got to be doing something. Because if I wasn't, they'd be watching you too. But they aren't. So...
too. Yeah. So it was very surprising. Yeah. And then I just started talking about it on stage, and it was like so weird. I thought, I mean, this is kind of cliche, but I literally thought that this was like an anomaly that nobody goes through. Mm-hmm. And I would like talk about it on stage, and like these like guys would come up to me afterwards, and they wouldn't admit it, but they'd be like, "Oh, that was some funny stuff right there, man. Like, yeah, you should keep doing that. That was good. That was good." And I was like, "What's going on?" And I started like talking to friends. And they would, every one of them was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing IVF." Like everybody, I'm 41, so I'm a little older, obviously, but like, I didn't know.
So did we, because
you guys did it.
Mm-hmm. The second baby,
the second time around, we didn't even.
I didn't know this. Have you guys spoken about this before?
Not really. Have we? Like, we were so in it that we didn't.
But like, it wasn't even. We didn't even go like, let's try and then do it. We just went straight to it.
You went, okay.
Well, because
we were older.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So,
you took a look at Christina.
I was like,
poached.
Woo!
I forgot. Oh, sorry, people. There's a video that I posted where I said Tom didn't have kids. Apparently he does. We all make mistakes. If you saw the video, oh man, you'll see the comments. You'll see the comments before you see this. Oh shit.
Be able to eat with a fork if we do it the regular way.
Because the first baby I had at 39. Like I delivered at I think 38 or 39.
Oh wow.
Now, to me, the idea that we should feel bad for a massively successful and wealthy comedian who has access to all the best medical treatments in the world and endless resources for using IVF, it doesn't really make any sense, because according to my little research, and I could be wrong, but according to what I saw, it sounds like as long as you have the funds, you have the resources and the time, when it comes to IVF, couples like Andrew and his wife are in a pretty good position, all things considered, since technically Schulz was the one with the problem and not his wife. And usually that is what makes the process a lot tougher. But in this case, his wife looks young and healthy. And so again, based on the data, they were and are in a pretty good position. And of course, I'm sure it's still a tough experience and it puts a lot of pressure on the relationship. But the point is that it's not like they were both broke and didn't have the $20,000 or however much it cost per cycle, because it's pretty expensive. But also, he's technically not the only or the first comedian to ever talk about it. Maybe he is the first one to make the whole special about it and talk about himself being the problem. But if you watch Ronnie's comedy special on Netflix, the first 10 to 15 minutes are very similar to Schulz's material. I'm not saying there was any copying. I'm just saying it's been talked about before, except in his case, it was because he was having too much fun being wealthy and famous, and so he wanted to put off having kids for now by freezing the embryos. And so Schulz being open and honest hits differently when it's part of the business model. Like, there's no nuke or way to make fun of Schulz for not being able to have babies, because he already did. Not only did he make a baby, but he made a special and made a lot of money. And so once again, in my opinion, him sharing that story wasn't that crazy at the end of the day.
So when you do that, and then you do all of the great press that you're doing, you can't expect to go online and see videos of people actually saying good things. They're not gonna do that. There's not gonna be no reaction videos that give it up and be like, man, you know what? I really enjoyed the life. Yo, you know what? I really enjoyed him on Shay Shay.
There's no money in that.
No,
There's no views in that.
No,
get your money, though. Get your money, man. As long as you talking about me, we're good.
And that's all.
As long as you talk about me, I'm not talking about you. We are good.
Because the algorithm don't know the difference.
They really don't. They really do. And low key, all I got to do is bring people back to the special. And then once you watch the special, you make your decisions up right there.
Hate watch.
Hey.
Cat Williams said it a long time ago. Hate is just confused admiration. It's okay. It's okay.
And you know what? Prophets let people convert.
That's right.
You don't know what it's like to work really hard on something, give it out there to the world for them to hate it or love it. That's a vulnerable, scary thing.
That's like every day at work, and we don't get paid millions of dollars to do one thing. Like, you know what I mean? All right, I'm just saying. Yeah, of course. You make something, people don't appreciate it. Like walking down the goddamn street, man. Someone don't appreciate the way you're walking.
You just hate things. We want to bring the old Jimmy back.
Man cave Jimmy.
We want
Jimmy don't ever bring that motherfucker
Man
back.
Show Jimmy is
It's
goated.
over. He did that already. Let the man live.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta run it back.
They gonna say that after they see the life.
Yeah,
but that's what they're gonna say. They're gonna watch the life, which is a fantastic
I'm busting
special.
Jimmy's balls, man. Jimmy's a grown ass man. Obviously, things change and your life priorities change.
Yes.
You know, come on.
Yes,
It's
You know
like
what I mean?
everything is a reaction channel.
Yeah, man.
And like, which is fine too. We're out here reacting to shit. Don't get me wrong, but there is.
Bro, let me tell you something else about Reaction Channel. Everything is a reaction to something. The news, the sports, like y'all that got that stick up your butt about reaction channels, that's just because you don't have one and nobody listens to you. Go make one so you can stop crying about it. And you know what? Who cares? This channel ain't about your fucking opinion. It's about mine. I'm going to make what I want. Quit crying about reaction channels. If it didn't take any talent or any kind of creativity, then everybody would be fucking watching everybody. But they're not. They're only watching the few fucking people that can actually do it and keep people's attention. So shut up. Y'all be acting like some bitches sometimes, trying to jump on other people's parade because nobody's floating fucking balloons for you.
Something about, I would love everybody that reacts to stuff to create something and put it out to be judged, because you might have a different feeling towards the reactions you have. Like, that's why even with the thing with Kendrick, like I really admire somebody, like the halftime performance. I admire somebody putting something out and working hard on something to be judged by the world.
Absolutely.
There is admiration regardless of what else went down. So,
and you take what comes with it.
You got to.
Because art is subjective.
Yep.
Period. Like if you're the type of person that puts something out to the world and all you can stand is the good comments, you're not built for this.
First off, who the fuck cares? And second off, like, it's so strange that the comments are such a weird thing, right? People believe that a creator that makes something, that one, they are entitled to comment on their page and they can't get banned. One, no, they're not. Nobody shits in your living room floor and then just walks away and then comes back and shits later. Now, you would stop that the first time and kick them the fuck out and never let them back in. Okay? So don't act like you ain't entitled to shit. All right? And then there's this philosophy that if good comments bad, no, listen, it's my world, baby. However I want to live it. You don't want someone punching you in the face constantly, right? It's like, don't worry about the comments, but this thing where you have to allow bad comments, like people are too stuck up on all these fake, like, social status things of like, oh, well, I allow all the comments. Bro, who cares? Who cares? It's all made up. Y'all making up these dumbass rules about account. No, fuck no. It's my YouTube channel. It's going to be what I want. What are you going to say about it? Nada. Because I blocked you. So shut the fuck up already and just live your life.
Like, because everybody.
But yes, I am talking about these guys. But look, it's for content. That's different, you know?
Gonna have an opinion. Some people gonna like it. Some people not gonna like it. Some people not even gonna give a fuck. So who should you focus on?
Yep.
None of it, exactly.
Yeah.
I did the best work that I possibly could.
Yeah.
I gave it to the world. Hey, y'all have at it, man.
And look, when it comes to Schulz, he definitely understands marketing, trends, timing. I mean, he saw the podcast comedy boom during the lockdown when comics could say anything and sell out shows, and he knew that moment wouldn't last forever. So instead of doubling down and owning that edgy lane, he made a business move, which is fair, but this whole argument that if you don't like the special, then you're somehow biased is a massive cope. Again, I'm not saying the special was bad or not funny at all, but to me, it was a clear sign that he was kind of done being an edgelord and was moving on to a different style of comedy. Because at this point, I don't think he's trying to become the best joke writer and instead just wants to be the most famous, kind of like Bert, which is fine. He played it safe, but made it forgettable. And the coping is out of control because there's no deep or complex motivation fueled by jealousy or simply doing what works for the algorithm that's silly. And that might be a self-report because if you remember, the Flagrant podcast wasn't the friendliest environment or platform for the guest because back then Andrew Schulz would often put them in awkward situations with uncomfortable questions, showing that he really didn't care at all and just wanted to show everyone how edgy he was. I still remember when he asked Brendan Schaub about walking Annie Letterman to his truck, which was a big deal back then. It would be like asking Logan Paul about CryptoSue today, something that he would never do now. And it shows how much he's changed because he used to have this edgy persona that didn't care about anyone, but now he pretends to be the nicest guy who can't handle criticism of his work.
Like, you know, look, the sooner you stop taking life so serious, I'm not saying it's going to solve everything because it doesn't, but a lot of these things it'll solve. Like, here's the thing. I like to give explanations for things and why I do things and, you know, talk to the mean commenters out there, right? But here's the thing. I know I'm going to get it. You know, it is what it is. You put something out there, people are going to hate it. I've had to put my own work out there pretty much my whole adult life for work. Been judged constantly. Who cares? All I know is I have fun, and I'm just going to keep doing it regardless because I was doing it when nobody was watching. So you just got to feel like that. And look, you can either do something and put it out there or never know. Never know. Never do it. Never know. I am a person that's curious, so I want to know. So it doesn't matter what people say because they're not living with me. These people on the internet, they won't even walk one step beside me. So why would I care what they think? Look, life is short. The time on your life is ticking down every day, and you mustn't let anyone discourage you from what you want to do. Now, people may make fun of you. I understand that because I make fun of people too. Okay? But look, there's good advice, and then there's your advice. Make sure your advice and good advice align. I don't even know what that means, but if you take any advice, make sure it aligns with who you are. That's what I meant to say. And Kill Tony fans, there's just an absolute truth about you. I think you might have hit your head and have some cognitive abilities that are just not firing correctly. But outside of that,
what did you learn?
Oh God!
Because you're a podcast host too.
So this is the thing. Like, I'm learning so much about just. I never cared to be famous. Like, I knew being famous would be a byproduct of my goals with comedy, which is to be like the greatest, right? So, but I never like cared to be famous. So I never tried to like learn what it was to be famous or that kind of thing. So I didn't realize how offensive you have to be with fame.
Explain.
Like, the second your name garners views, people will use your name to get views and make a living and react to your stuff or whatever like that. Like, you know, there's so much like reaction content out right now. And you know, there's another thing just about like reaction content in general. It's like, yeah, it's very popular. You know, it is what it is. It's very popular.
Yep. He's watching them, Brooks. Oh yeah, he's watching them. I love it. 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 I just, you know what? I wasn't really feeling any certain way. I was just kind of getting bored at listening to this guy just whine. But it dawned on me that all of this great content that all of these comedy content people are making is having an impact. It's like when you give your money to like feed the children and 98 cents goes to administrative costs or the investors and the board. And then, like 10 years later, they deliver one package of food to the wrong address somewhere in Kenya. And you're like, oh, that made a difference. Well, I feel like my small videos contributed to breaking Andrew Schulz's spirit. I think it's great. I think it's great. And I don't even know why, but I'm happy.
But and then once you get to a certain amount of followers and a certain amount of success, people use your name for those views. And
yeah, totally.
Being successful, like you have to pay the cost of that. But my reaction to that was just like, I'm just going to ignore it and keep on putting out art.
Yeah.
Yes, but also you also got to snipe when it's ready to snipe. And you also got to take exact shots. And you don't have to talk about the people. You could sub the people so you're not actually saying their name.
Subs are so good.
Oh, and then hit those.
There was a time I didn't used to like subs, but subs are so good.
It's almost better. Because then they come screaming. And you're like, what are you talking about?
The thing that makes me okay with accepting criticism is that all the people I admire are the most criticized people. Taylor Swift is like, there's no more criticized. Like, she's getting booed at the Super Bowl. Also, you can't respond to people who don't really have a face. So you can't respond to ideas. Like, I can respond to Kendrick because Kendrick is the biggest rapper in the world. Can't respond to like some YouTube video. It's just, in my mind.
That's my one criticism I have of the comedy channels. I believe if you're gonna talk shit, you should show your face. I just think it's only fair. I may have some code. I have a little bit of code. If there's a duel, one must first receive the glove slap to the face. So I'm not a big fan of the hide in the face thing. Not a big fan of it. It's only respectful. There is in these duels, these YouTube video duels, there is still a minimum amount of respect. You should be honest. You should never change your views just because people are whining or telling you. You got to stick to your guns. If you believe something, stand up for it. Be honest, believe something. What's the third one? And be okay if you say something. Who cares? Don't take yourself so seriously. You could be wrong, Or who cares, man? Life's too short to worry about people's opinions.
I'm like, okay, now I'm just blowing that thing up. I'm just adding gas to it.
He has a small
the Kendrick
penis.
thing was interesting.
That's what you could tell small penis.
That was wild.
And so, even though the special wasn't as bad as like Burn the Boats, to me,
it's true, because if he wasn't, he'd be sitting there knowing like, yep, my wife's a happy lady. I laid into her this morning with this rod of steel. She's so happy.
It did feel like Andrew Schulz was trying to distance himself from his edgy past, and this way he could be seen as a more serious and credible comedian by his new fan base. We've mentioned this before, but there is a chance that he's trying to be more like Bill Maher and less like Joe Rogan. And if you look at the way that he's rebranding everything, it does make sense. Now he's definitely going for that late night show feel. And so once again, the special wasn't horrible. It was clearly made for a different audience. And if you're a casual comedy fan, I'm pretty sure you will like it. But if you have been watching Andrew Schulz since before the infamous comedy special, then it will probably feel like a massive, like a big change, going from strong bits and jokes to more storytelling type comedy. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Dislike if you didn't like the video. But that is all we have for today. See ya.
There it is, comedy enforcement. He's coming back with another video on Andrew Schulz being an utter disappointment. I think if Andrew Schulz could be more of the Andrew Schulz that we saw in Bill Maher, where he wasn't playing this character or trying to be something else because it's good for marketing, I think Andrew Schulz would be very popular. And the problem is as soon as Andrew Schulz started worrying about how to maximize profits, not how to be a good entertainer, comedian, the Andrew Schulz thing wore off for a lot of people, and maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe there's a ton of people out there like Nick Bargatze. I made a video about that guy. Like, did everybody just get like smashed by a stone before they watched him? And just like, because how could you like that guy? It's unbelievable how that guy, man, no, maybe I'm the dumb one, I'm not making $82 million from telling jokes about letting my dog outside. Jesus. Do you like to bang? Don't stay.